Folks, let's just appreciate Nina Cain while we still have her in the 916. She's got big things in her future, but for right now, she's going to work in the paint and won. All right, it is with great pleasure that I introduce my next guest. She is a senior at Mcclatchy High School, which just won its first girls basketball section championship since 2007. And she was recently named the Sacramento Bees All-Metro Player of the Year for the second year in a row. She's just a few months away from playing collegiately at the next level at the University of Washington. My guest is none other than Nina Cain. Nina, thank you so much for joining us on Premier Preps.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So, I mentioned the last time Mcclatchy won a section championship was in 2007. Were you quite born yet? That was about 18 years ago.
If we're estimating it was around the same time as we won it, that would have been just approximately, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks before I was born. My birthday is coming up on the 23rd, so it's kind of crazy how just, a whole 18 years later we win it again with the new generation.
Isn't it wild?
It's cool in a way.
It's maybe a little prophetic, right? That they waited until you were just about to be a senior to win it all again. Well, happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
You guys certainly made it a memorable season. You guys were very fun to watch and cover. Have you had a chance to kind of reflect and look back at what you guys did and what stands out to you about what you guys were able to accomplish?
I think this honestly, out of my 4 years here, and I think I could say the same for a few of our other seniors, this was our biggest year. I mean, just we have so many things to reflect on, especially earlier in the year. Lots of things that we got done that we're very proud of. We had, I would say, arguably our toughest preseason yet in all 4 years that I've been here. And just the way we handled it and got some good wins and faced some really best of the best competition early on, head on, and just seeing how we performed even at that early stage when, we weren't at our fullest potential yet, says a lot. And so we just kept building and building and building and building throughout the year and to where we got just a couple weeks ago. All credit to what we've done early on in this year.
Being named the Sac B Player of the Year for the second year in a row, that doesn't happen very often. Like sometimes maybe you'll have a girl who gets the overall Player of the Year one year, and then maybe the large school Player of the Year or medium school Player of the Year the next year. But to be the overall Player of the Year for 2 years in a row, that's saying something right there. What type of meaning does that carry for you?
It means a lot. I mean, I would just say I'm just so blessed with everything that, all the opportunities that God has given me, and just the support along the way, throughout my 4 years, and just learning and growing alongside, my family and my team, my coaches, teammates, all that support, and also myself being the biggest part of it. Just staying confident and just continuing to work at a consistent level, and also just holding myself up high at high standards.
Your high standards that you hold yourself to, that's one of the things that Coach Oda talks a lot about when he's describing your game, and just your drive and everything like that. Tell me about your upbringing with the game of basketball. Like, what drew you to the game initially, and what do you attribute to developing that drive and developing into the player that you are today?
I would say the biggest thing that got me into basketball is my dad. He's always been a big sports guy, and just the way he pushed me, allowed me to ingrain all those teachings and those characteristics that he put into me as a player and both as a person as well. And I would say thanks to him for pushing me so much, so much, so much that I developed my own, a high motor and just have that integrated into my system when I get in the court. I give a lot of props to him because getting me started really early, just getting my feet in the water at about 5 or 6 years old, that carried a long way.
And he definitely makes his presence felt at games, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Yep. He's my number one biggest fan. No one else can beat him.
At what point of your life did you realize and kind of figure out that, hey, I'm pretty good and I possibly have a future at playing college basketball? What point of your life did you figure that out, and how did your mindset maybe change towards the game?
I started to really figure it out, I would say, when I started AAU around fourth grade. And when I began to do traveling AAU, I was constantly put on the higher team. So I was rarely with my own age group. Or if I was, I would be with my own age group, or I would also play with the girls that are a year older or even 2 years older. So I think that really contributed a lot. It developed me in a way where I always wanted to seek something greater, something bigger, just knowing that, if I can compete with girls 2 years older than me, that have more experience, more development, if I can, hang at that level, then when I go back to my own level, then it's so much easier for me.
I imagine it's certainly going to help you when you move on to Washington. And speaking of the Huskies, why UW? What attracted you to Washington?
It was a mix of a lot of things, a lot of factors. I would say one of the biggest ones was just the coaches and teammates. When I went there after my visit, I came home and I told them my family, like, these people are like second family to me. I just felt the real connection with all the staff, all the team, the teammates, just like-minded people who are very good people, off the court, and also have that drive and want to work. So I love that because that matches a lot with my personality and my fire. And also, the school is amazing. Campus is amazing. Great academics. Very, very good, top-rated public university, and also great athletics too. It checked all my check boxes. So I would say, once I came home, I knew right away.
That's awesome that you have that environment and that culture that kind of matches with, and meshes with your personality both on and off the court. But speaking of off the court, like, what is Nina Cain like off the court? We've seen what she can do on the court and pretty much dominate the competition. But what does Nina Cain like to do when she's not playing basketball?
Well, Nina Cain is really two different people. When she's on the court and when she's off the court. When she's on the court, that's when she's her loudest. She's has that fire. She's yelling, hype. But off the court, as a person, I'm a lot more kind of mellow, very nice, very generous. Just kind of more, just calm. Just kind of that calm aura. I like to spend time with my family. I'm a family person. I like to have hobbies. I do art. I'm very into photography, and I am considering doing something of that field once I get to Washington. As I look more into it, I feel like I'll have something figured out, but I'm very interested in like cinema, media studies. So I like to dabble in those kind of things. I like to cook, like to read. But off the court, I'm a different person in a way. But still, nothing will ever change for my love of basketball. That is always with me.
You kind of answered my next question that I had for you. Was it was going to be, what did you want to study when you're at UW? But it sounds like you want to get into some sort of art or cinema. That would be awesome. How far do you see the game of basketball taking you?
I would dream to go to the WNBA. I feel like I have the potential to make it and the drive to make it. And that's what I keep on striving for. And so that's something I'll continue to work for. And just, throughout my collegiate level, I'm just going to keep rising my stock more and more and more and just keep being myself.
Well, Nina, I truly appreciate you taking the time to hang out on Premier Preps. Congratulations on all of your success, both team wise and individually. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that I cannot wait to see what you do at the next level. You've had an amazing career already, and you've got an amazing career ahead of you as well. So we wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us on Premier Preps. You are obviously welcome back anytime.
course. Thank you. Thank you so much.